Hi there, my name is Noemi and I am a light language channel. I do my work mostly online and you can find me at ladynuage.com. Now, the reason I have decided to do this video is because I actually get asked quite a bit what light language is, and I have pointed people in different directions, and I figured I would try to answer that question myself this time. So what is light language? So hopefully if you're on this video you've actually heard some of it before, but if you haven't, it sounds like speaking in tongues. It's actually, as far as I know, the same thing. It's an ability, a gift that we all have within ourselves, but some people have decided to unlock at different times in their lives, and so they have the ability to speak languages, dialects, make movements, make sounds that they haven't necessarily learned in school or anywhere, on this earth in this lifetime. And it's a sort of remembering and knowing of what to say and when to say it. And so when light language comes about, it comes from the heart, which is such a beautiful, beautiful place for it to come through. So rather than us trying to formulate a thought and speak it out as I'm doing right now, instead we get into our heart space and we let the beauty flow. Now, when we do that, and you may have actually experienced that in its simplest and purest forms by just feeling so much love towards something or someone, maybe a newborn in your family, or a little puppy or something like that. You just feel so much love that you have this feeling, maybe you even visualized it, that your heart is just beaming out love to this little being, or maybe your eyes, something like that. And so that's a very decent parallel to what light language is. We're beaming love outwards, but we're also using sound and motion as a sort of translation of that love that we're sending through. One thing I love about light language, or the language of light, or the language of angels, or like I mentioned before, speaking in tongues, is that you really don't have to abide by one particular belief system in order to really enjoy the benefits. And as I understand, it has been spoken about by different belief systems, because it is an innate capability of humans. And so one thing that I wanted to mention, along with, where it comes from, because it is non-cognitive, the other thing I wanted to mention about light language is how it feels. Now, I mentioned how great it can feel when you think of, sending your love to someone, or like a little being that you love so much. The thing that I wanted to kind of bring in with that parallel is the idea of energy frequencies. Now, you may be familiar with that, you may not. Everything is made of energy. Hopefully, your chemistry and physics class have taught you some of that, right? And in the esoteric world, in the metaphysical world, we like to use those terms as well. We end up finding that the source of all that is, the source of energy, is, quite comparable to the idea of our source of love, which, some people call God, some people call Creator, Creatrix. It really depends what your belief system was growing up, and the one that you've adopted now onwards. But that notwithstanding, the idea of love coming through your heart being a spark that may resonate at the same level, at the same piece of knowledge, of wisdom that your Creator, I guess is the term that wants to come through, has offered you and has made you of. So that we can also call frequency. And those are some words that you may hear, energy, frequency, what else? Gosh, all of the esoteric terms, really. You might also hear that it's healing, and that's something I want to talk about a little bit. In its simplest forms, any love that we send outwards is healing. That is something that we do and know as human beings, without having to be taught. You probably have seen all the cutesy little videos of little kids going around and hugging strangers. And in your life, how much that changed when someone gave you a heartfelt, "How are you doing?" or hug, right? That is life-changing, and that can be considered healing. That can be considered energy. That can be considered, a gift from God. And so with that as the premise, we now layer on like a little bit of complexity in that the messages, the love, the hug, the "how are you doing," that this is what your soul has been calling for. It can come from physical beings, but it can also come from the wisdom around us that may not be seen with our eyes. And so some people, and actually I think most of us that have channeled light language for a long time, feel comfortable saying that there are other beings that inhabit this universe, that we're not the only ones, the ones on Earth, that there are other ones, and that some of them don't take physical form. So people call those the galactics, and there are different terms associated with the different planets. And some, if not most, of the light language channels that you'll see on videos on different social media platforms will feel quite comfortable saying where a message comes from. Now, that is kind of adding a layer of complexity that's not necessary if you're not really like into that sort of thing. And I totally get you if you're not, because when I first started speaking it, I wasn't convinced of the idea. But what I knew deep in my heart is that I felt good. It made me feel good. And the healing that came with it was something that I could feel viscerally. And so that is probably the greatest gift of light language. It shifts you, it resets you, it brings about these massive, massive changes if you let it. I have seen, gosh, the most incredible things happen to some of my clients after a session. And, not to say that I am the one giving the key, because that's not necessarily how I want to word it. But let's say that through me comes a message for them, one that their soul is asking for, and it brings about a key to unlock something within them and to unlock something within you. And so once that occurs, things start shifting. It may be so subtle at first that you don't notice, but all of a sudden you look back and you wonder, wow, I feel lighter. I have forgiven this person. I have a better understanding of this relationship. I no longer feel like this particular trauma or memory runs me the way that it used to. I have gained my power back. I have gained my love back. I feel my heart more. I feel more joy. I want to dance. And, quite commonly, people will start to feel more creative. So that may also carry out into their own form of letting their heart come through, come out, and so in a way their own form of light language. And so I think I have said all of the things I wanted to say. Oh, one more thing. No, I did want to talk about one more thing, and that's the idea of translating what light language might mean. In my experience, it is multifaceted. It has multiple different meanings because the frequencies that come through are very complex is not the term. But let's use complex for now. They're multifaceted. They have different layers to them. And so what one person may receive from one message may be different that when another person may receive. I've definitely experienced that when I had an experience with a message and someone else had a different experience. Now that's not to say that the message is invalid at all. That's just to say that it meets you right where you are, which is an incredible, incredible experience. And so with these healing sounds, with these healing motions, what we do with light language is we enable you to expand, we enable you to heal, and we enable you to get closer to yourself, to your true self, to the soul that inhabits this body, to this soul that is this body. I hope I have touched upon all of the things that we wanted to touch upon in terms of what is light language. Again, my name is Noemi, and I do offer light language sessions, and I do have a lot of free content out there. So I have short and longer light language transmissions. So if you are curious and you've not actually heard what light language sounds like, just head over to my channel and basically just click on the one that speaks to you. It doesn't have to be chosen in order. Your heart and your soul will know the message that that you want to hear right now. And so with that, I leave you, and I hope you have a great day. Feel free to share the video, feel free to comment. I love connecting with everybody, especially with regards to this, because it is work that is so very close to my heart. And I just want to wish you such a joyous life. Mwah. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.